Before she rejected you, you may have liked her. You may even have wanted something real with her. But after she said no, the feeling changed. Now you replay the conversation. You notice every small detail. You imagine what you could have said differently. And somehow, the person you could live without a week ago starts to feel impossible to let go of. That shift can be confusing because the intensity feels like evidence. It feels as though your mind is telling you, "She must be more important than I realized." But stronger wanting after rejection does not automatically mean deeper compatibility. Sometimes it means that rejection activated several different systems at once: your desire, your sense of control, your self-worth, and your tendency to keep thinking about an unresolved emotional threat. The first part is simple. People often want more freedom when they feel it has been taken away. Psychologists call this reactance. It is the motivational pushback that can appear when a valued option suddenly becomes unavailable. Before the rejection, you still had a choice. You could pursue her, take your time, or decide that the connection was not right for you. After the rejection, that choice feels closed. And once the door closes, your attention may move from, "Do I actually want this relationship?" to, "How do I reopen the door?" That is an important change. You are no longer only evaluating her. You may also be trying to restore your sense of agency. This does not happen to everyone, and it does not mean your original feelings were fake. It means that losing an option can add urgency to a desire that was previously easier to hold. The second part is the difference between wanting and compatibility. Your motivational system can keep reaching for a reward even after the reward becomes unavailable. In one small brain imaging study, people who had recently been rejected by a romantic partner still showed activity in systems associated with reward, motivation, and craving when they looked at that person. That finding does not mean you are addicted to her. It does not mean every rejection produces the same response, but it does support a useful distinction. The part of you that wants something can remain highly active even when the relationship itself is no longer available. Wanting is a pull. Compatibility is evidence. Compatibility is about whether two people share enough values, emotional availability, behavior, timing, and willingness to build something mutual. Rejection does not improve any of those things. In fact, it gives you one important piece of information. Mutual willingness is not present right now. So the feeling may become stronger while the case for the relationship has not become stronger at all. The third part is more personal. Rejection can land on your self-worth. A clear no can feel like more than losing one person. It can feel like a verdict. I was not attractive enough. I was not confident enough. I was not chosen. Research on social exclusion suggests that rejection can threaten basic needs such as belonging, self-esteem, and control. When that happens, winning her over may start to represent something larger than the relationship. You may not only want her, you may want to reverse the meaning of the rejection. You may imagine that if she changes her mind, then the original judgment disappears. You are desirable again. You were right about your value. The story has been corrected. But another person's changed response cannot create stable self-worth. Even if you could persuade someone to reconsider, the relief would usually be temporary if your value still depends on being chosen. This is why post-rejection desire can feel so intense. You are not always chasing only a person. Sometimes you are chasing emotional repair. The fourth part is rumination. Rumination is repetitive thinking that feels productive but rarely gives you new information. You replay the moment. You build alternative versions. You search for hidden signals. You imagine future conversations where you finally explain yourself perfectly. Every repetition keeps the emotional threat active. And because your mind keeps returning to her, she starts to feel even more significant. The amount of attention becomes confused with the amount of compatibility. People who are more sensitive to abandonment or rejection may experience this loop more strongly. They may monitor more, seek more reassurance, or feel a stronger urge to restore closeness. That does not mean you should diagnose yourself with an attachment style because of one painful reaction. It simply means that your nervous system may treat distance as a problem that must be solved immediately. Sometimes uncertainty makes this worse. If the connection involved genuine warmth followed by withdrawal, then unpredictable attention can make it harder to disengage. You may keep waiting for the next warm moment. But be careful with this idea. A respectful, clear rejection is not intermittent reinforcement. It is not proof that she manipulated you. And it is not evidence that playing hard to get is a reliable way to create attraction. Sometimes a no is simply a no. So how do you tell whether you genuinely miss her or whether rejection has amplified the feeling? Ask yourself 3 questions. First, did I want her this strongly before she rejected me? Second, what do I actually know about our compatibility, beyond attraction and possibility? Fourth, am I trying to build a relationship, or am I trying to reverse what the rejection seems to say about me? Those questions are not designed to shame you. They are designed to separate grief from pursuit and attraction from wounded pride. You may still conclude that your feelings were real. You may still need time to grieve. Genuine affection does not disappear just because some of the intensity has been amplified by loss, uncertainty, or self-worth threat. But respecting your feelings does not require acting on every urge they create. A secure response begins by treating a clear rejection as information and a boundary, not as a challenge. That means not sending another message just to improve the final impression, not checking her profile for indirect signs, not asking mutual friends what she really meant, not building a strategy around making her jealous, disappearing dramatically, or proving that she underestimated you. Those behaviors feel like action, but they usually keep the loop alive. The next step is to stop supplying your mind with new material. Reduce repeated checking. Stop rereading the conversation. Catch the imaginary debates before they become a nightly routine. Then restore agency somewhere that does not depend on her answer. Return to your sleep, movement, work, friendships, responsibilities, and plans. Not as a performance to show her what she lost, but because your life needs to become larger than one person's decision. It can also help to make 2 columns. In the first, write what you know about the actual connection. What happened, what she consistently showed, what was mutual, and what was not. In the second, write what you imagined, the future relationship, the version of yourself you would become beside her, and the meaning you attach to being chosen. Often, the second column contains much of what is hardest to release. And finally, allow the disappointment to be painful without turning it into resentment or self-contempt. Her rejection does not prove that you are unworthy. Your pain does not prove that she was wrong. And your stronger desire does not create an obligation for her to reconsider. You do not need to make her regret rejecting you. You do not need to win the story. You need to understand what the rejection activated, respect the boundary, and let your judgment become clearer than your urgency. Because the question is not only, how much do I want her now? The better question is, what kind of relationship is actually available to me? And a healthy relationship begins with mutual willingness, not with one person trying to overcome the other person's no.